I don't like categorizing people, and yet I allow people to categorize me, and I even apply categories to myself. I call myself a skeptic and a relativist. And how that came to be is that I'd come to realize finally when I was still somewhat young that we needed categories. Now, I didn't like being categorized. Even giving a good label to me would bother me because it's robbing my individuality and pretending you know more about me than you really know. Saying I'll behave all good or all in any particular way, that's an insult to me. The individuality is important. So, also recently in the last, 8 years or so, I've learned some arguments from cognitive science that argue that just materially from a physical basis that neural nets have to categorize. And why? It's because you have, thousands of neurons stimulating some little bundle of, let's just pretend it's one neuron or a small group of neurons. And the firing of that one neuron is the firing of a category. It's like we've seen all of these actual stimuli, and they fire the one neuron that says, an apple. I've seen an apple. I comprehend all of those things as an apple. These processes of abstraction and compressing information, uh, involve categorization. So, it's like how do you, let's say you had an array in a computer memory of 1,000 copies of the number 42. Well, how do you compress that? You could compress that into two numbers, 1,042 or 1,042, whatever, however many I said it was. And why? Because you'd be saying, well, there's a pattern of 1,000,000 repeats and of a number 42, and you'd be categorizing things, and this is just inevitable. And around the same time, I learned that, oh yeah, I thought I had deduced this flaw. I didn't think I had invented it per se, but I deduced it from science and what was working in science, as if scientists had just come up with this method of their own, and I wanted to abstract philosophy out of it. Actually, it was philosophy that went into that method, and I found out that it was the skeptical epistemology. And so what I had deduced out was the skeptical epistemology, processed a little by natural philosophy, and like some things were, there was a theory of relativity in the skeptical epistemology, but by the time it came through natural philosophy, it was, jacked up to the nth degree. Even time is relative. So, there were some changes in that transformation, but I had to see that there was a similarity, and that I hadn't done it because, I thought skepticism was really cool and I copied all the ideas. No, it was because reality seemed to have the ideas of skepticism in it, and I come to my own conclusion. I realized, oh yeah, it doesn't have to be oppressive. A category doesn't have to be oppressive. I don't have to run from a category if I feel that they're oppressing me. The answer is not to run from them or anything, but to command them to be stronger than categories, which means to know how to use them well and in the correct way as a good tool and not as a brutal weapon. So if the audio is out of sync, well, this is also serving as a test of this tool.